Well, we've got. Are we recording?
We're recording.
SG Lewis inside of the Roosevelt tape. We're good friends, recommend good music, and you, my friend, you make really good music.
Damn, thank you. That was quite the intro. Thank you.
Now, it's kind of weird to start off an interview like this, but I had a dream about you last night.
Uh-huh.
It's not weird, I promise. It's not weird. Because I fell asleep watching a whole bunch of your YouTube content, and for the same reason that I don't watch any like true crime shows at night or fall asleep to them, I'll start having nightmares. I don't know. I guess in my dream, we were in the interview mode, and I don't know what happened, but I woke up mad at you. I don't remember what it was now, but I was quite angry. You didn't do anything bad, though. I promise.
I apologize. I did just scare you when I came in the room, so maybe it was
maybe it was that. I know.
Maybe
I wake up
foretelling
from dreams like that about my boyfriend, and I just look at him like, you did something.
Yeah, he's
dream.
like, morning, baby, and you're like, yeah. Like, I know what you did.
Don't try to hide.
I have these these are classic like DJ dreams sometimes, but if I've been DJing a lot, I have a dream where like the track is running out and like I just like I can't choose another track and then it just goes silent.
The panic.
And everyone's like, boo, and then that happens regularly.
That's a constant dream you have?
It's like, yeah, at least once a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen to you. I doubt it.
Thank you. Yeah.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
You're a busy guy right now.
There's a lot going on.
You got a tour currently underway. You've got the album rollout currently underway, which I was just telling.
New single tomorrow.
I was telling the boss man, I was like, it's kind of like vintage for him to be doing this whole rollout situation in an era where everything's kind of just drops in the middle of the night. And
it's very it is quite old school. And like, the track that's coming out tomorrow is also quite old school. It's like a 80s like wedding banger, and it's so it all feels a bit traditional right now. But I'm definitely looking forward to some more sleep at some point.
I bet. I'm like, so was the album finished prior to going on tour?
Yeah, so album was finished before tour. I keep changing and fiddling with things, which annoys the label a lot. So I keep changing versions, but it is handed in, and it's probably too late for me to change anything now because it's being printed to vinyl. But I still might change some stuff.
And also with everything going to streaming, even some albums that have been out, like a Beyonce Renaissance, fans have been noticing tweaks to the records and whatnot.
Yeah.
Is that something that...
The new single that's out tomorrow, I swapped the audio on, I think it was Monday, and because I suddenly decided that I liked mixed version 6 instead of version 9.
I like that.
And the label were like...
You had a dream about it.
I had a nightmare about it, and the label were like, can you please stop? I got like a very sternly worded email about changing versions, but here we are.
You filmed the music video, which is going to also be out tomorrow. It's a bloody music video.
It is, yeah. So when we were writing the track, the track, I was at the studio in the UK in the countryside, and my friend Ed Druitt, who I wrote it with, were at dinner, and he was telling the story of how he met his wife, and they met when they were like kids in like a shopping mall, and then he like about 15 years later like got drunk on a flight and confessed his love to her. So then we're like, right, we're gonna write that song. So we like ran into the studio, wrote the song, but basically I kept calling it the wedding song because I was like, and then so I had the idea that in the video I'm like a wedding singer, so you'll see the video, but like I'm basically a wedding singer and I upset the groom because I fall in love with the bride. So I get
isn't that what happened? I've never seen the movie. I haven't seen a lot of movies. The Wedding Singer, right?
It's
Adam
like a
Sandler?
reference. Yeah, it's a reference.
Okay, it's a reference.
Yeah, it's a reference. And then but I get quite badly beaten up in the video. So yeah.
And I mean, you've talked about it even as it being one of those wedding songs being played for generations to come. Was that like a sarcasm on the
No, I was really
video?
actually feeling myself that much. I mean, the video is sarcastic, but I was like having a day where I was really enjoying the song, and I hate a lot of stuff I find it difficult to listen to a lot of stuff I make. But I really like this song, and I have, really high hopes for it. But I did look back at that tweet, and I was like, wow, that was a confident day before the anxious voices set in and were like, you suck. No, no one's going to listen to this. So there was a brief break in the clouds of confidence.
Do you have moments where you kind of just prefer to go with your first feeling when it goes to a record?
Yeah, I mean, it's always kind of I prefer releasing songs quickly after I've made them, because like even with this one, it's probably my favorite song I've ever made, but I've been sat with it for so long that I'm just like, I have no idea anymore. Like, I'm like,
where do I start?
I remember at one point I was like driving down LA with the roof down, and I was like, this song, and then today I'm like, I really hope someone likes this song. You know, so it's a roller coaster of confidence and emotions, really.
I mean, you've got a pretty good track record. You've been in the room with some pretty cool people. So if that doesn't boost a little bit.
Yeah, I just try and surround myself with people that are cooler than me to kind of
I love that.
make up for it. But yeah, I don't know if it was, you just never know, you know. So every time we release a track, it's like releasing the first one ever again. It's like you just have this crisis of self. But I'm good otherwise.
You're good now, hey.
I was like, yeah, I forgot this isn't therapy. This is a radio interview.
It is in a way therapy, right? You're releasing it all.
Okay.
I wanted to take it back to your debut album with Times. I know a lot of effort and research went into the origins, looking up the origins of like the disco era, some of the parties that went on around that time.
Yes.
I'm obsessed with like the Studio 54 documentary, Paradise Garage, and
Yeah.
how much went into having an experience. It wasn't just music and the people there. Does that...
It's very much about what it represented rather than like, oh, let's try and copy the aesthetic and copy the sound. It was like those clubs existed because they served as like a safe space for marginalized communities, and like they would come together in those clubs in New York, and there was a place where they could like express themselves, and that was kind of more the appealing thing rather than like, oh, what were they wearing, who was spinning, like who was there. It was like, oh, that's cool. Because
I was gonna ask, has any of that influenced your on stage performance aside from you?
Absolutely. You know, like the live show definitely, but even more so, I'm starting a record label, and the kind of key message of the label and the parties that we're throwing is exactly that. It's like, you know, inclusivity and like celebration and kind of that kind of spreading of love in that environment rather than like a dark, intimidating, elitist environment. It's like, hey, everyone's welcome to come and...
Which is kind of cool. There's been this shift in general in the mainstream music scene. You know, we have Beyonce with Renaissance, Drake with his album and this sound. I saw a lot of online chatter bringing up names like yourself or Kate Trinata. Like, no, there's people that have been doing this. I guess I didn't have any question in regards to that. It's more of like a follow up on what you just said.
It's a funny discussion because, like, you know, and I saw me and Kate Trinata and, you know, Disclosure and a few others get mentioned, but like, we're not the originators of these sounds. You know, we like channel like things that we see, but like, you know, I can't sit here and be like, I invented disco, you know, or anything like that. It's like, so I feel like I'm a vehicle for that music from, you know, 70s New York and stuff, and like I get to kind of present it in a new sort of environment and reimagine for like a different generation. Would I love to have been involved? Absolutely. Like, it would have been cool. And hopefully at some point, you know, those kind of... I feel like you're always one degree of separation from something like that happening. So, but it's... When you have like Drake and Beyonce kind of tapping into those styles, it's cool because it shows that like it's resonating.
Kind of opens the floodgates for...
Everyone wins when Drake and Beyonce do house and disco albums, you know, in terms of everyone from this scene. It's like, it means that more people are gonna have access to that music and be interested in that music, and then like
start diving deeper,
and then the bar gets raised, you know, as much as like people be like, oh, there's a bunch of like casual fans stuff, but it's like, well, if there's more people making this music, then the best has got to be better now. So I think it's a good thing.
Well, you are kind of like the beginning of a lot of people's careers, though. I think it was James Vickery, the first record I heard you on with Shanae Harnett.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Lucky Day.
Oh yeah, love Lucky.
So there's something to be said about that, and something about the UK R&B scene specifically.
For sure.
It's magic out there. Like, anything I find is Gwen Bunn UK also? I'm not sure.
Pretty sure. But yeah, UK R&B is it's such an underrated scene, you know, and like there's people like James Vickery, Mahalia, Coltrane, like, you know, Georgia Smith, of course, you know, like there's a lot of incredible music there, and I think like I think UK R&B artists sometimes feel frustrated because like it's not a scene that is like reaches as far as maybe it should, or you know, but I think that they'll get their flowers soon. And I think like say artists like Georgia are kind of like really reaching pretty far and wide now. So
I look forward to anything Georgia drops. I'm like, what? Georgia Smith?
Yeah, exactly. No,
I don't care. I love it already. I don't have to hear it. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm subscribed.
I saw a tweet somebody put out. They said, you retweeted it. They said, SG Lewis is Jack Antonoff for people whose Taylor Swift is Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
That's like, that's really where I'm trying to get to.
Yes.
The fact that anyone's even saying that yet, I'm like, cool, all right. Because my like end goal really is like, you know, I want to collaborate with as many artists as possible and create as much music as possible. But like, you know, I want to end up in that position that someone like Jack Antonoff or like Max Martin's in, where they're just like sat at home with like their family, like making tunes for pop stars and drinking tea. Like, you know, look, I love the road. I love shows, but like when I'm like 45, I want to be chilling at home, making bangers.
Like, yeah, I was thinking about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Come over.
Yeah, so like, so that was definitely high praise. And Jack Antonoff is like, you know, he's prolific right now. Like I don't even understand how he's doing so many records. Like I was thinking about it. I was like, all right, if I had a Taylor Swift record to produce, it's probably going to take up my year. But in the same year, he's done like 1975, like a Clara record, a Phoebe Bridgers record. Like there is so many records he's done, and it's just like, what? Like, how are you? Yeah, it's confusing. So basically, really high praise, but I've got to up my work rate. I'm lazy.
Well, I mean, at this point, like I said, you're doing this album rollout. You're on tour. Yeah. Once you nail this part of it, like who knows what your work.
I'm always gonna love like being an artist and putting out music as an artist, and then like, so I think like I'll just have to forego more sleep, basically. I'm sleeping too much.
You need sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny, I battle between, there's so many mixed messages that you get online, like work hard, no, let your body rest, listen to your body. I don't know which one to do.
Yeah, like look after your mental health, but also like you have to work so much harder if you want to pay rent.
That's when I throw my phone away, like, I don't care.
I know this. If I could throw this thing in the ocean, sometimes I would.
It's on TV. Yeah. We got the album coming out in January.
That's
January 27th, to be exact.
I didn't know that. I thought,
is it not January 27th?
No, it is that, but it's like
I knew shifting it.
No, I was just like, I know it's one of those dates. I just know which one. So that's great. Thank you.
I feel it. Audio Lust and Higher Love. I know Chance the Rapper is an artist that you've mentioned wanting to work with in the past. So right now I'm just doing my investigative work, trying to figure out if he may be one of the artists featured on the album, and if he would even tell me if he was.
I mean, I wouldn't say if he was. I mean, Chance haven't crossed paths in the recent past, but I'd still love to work with Chance, but I don't want to get your hopes up for this album. But there's always a possibility down the line.
Yeah, I'm crossing my fingers, and I just wanted to mention it so that if it does happen,
you got to put it out in the universe. You got to manifest it.
I know you're really intentional when it comes to putting out just any body of work from your EPs, even this last project with Times. This one moving forward, you had mentioned something about this being. You start off the first track, you're singing on it. It's kind of like the bookend to the last project.
Yes.
And would you be able to break down some of the themes that we'll be seeing?
I definitely I seem to struggle to be able to complete a project without there being like a concept and like a central
to tie it all.
Yeah, something that ties it together. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of songs together. So I kind of during the pandemic was kind of like thinking a lot about this. The perception of like love versus lust, and like the differences between like what are those two different things, like what people might think is love versus lust. And I was watching I had a lot of time to think at home, and I was watching a lot of I don't know, rom-coms and stuff. I don't know. So basically the idea is that there's kind of yin and yang element to lust and love, and there's like something of both in each other, and you
need that balance.
The album is kind of an exploration of that, and then these two different worlds, the audio last half being this very like rushy kind of and represents this very self-centered, ego-driven, toxic version of love and relationships, and it's like exploring that. And then the second half is this more fulfilled, like longer-lasting, actualized version of love and romance. And so that's kind of explored a bit, but it's definitely a little bit more anecdotal than past records. I think I've always enjoyed making music about other people, whereas this one I was stuck at home and I was like, all right, I got a bit more to I had less to think about externally, you know, like everything was shut. So I was like, okay, let's see what's going on in here instead.
Was there anybody that you know, you're writing these records or these songs and, you know, you got to dig deep within yourself. Is there anybody that you show these songs to or play them for and they're like, nah, you can do better than that. You can dig deeper.
I mean, definitely.
Who is it, the person that you trust?
I have like a few mentors and like my friend Orlando, he puts out music as an artist called Totally Enormous Extinct Dinosaurs, and he's sort of one of you know, I've been a fan of his music long before I met him. We became very good friends, but he's one of those few people that will tell me, you know, if something sucks, or it's just not sucks, but he'll be like, that's not good enough or something. And then Ed Druitt, who I wrote a lot of the record with, he's a songwriter, and we were just like, you know, we got to a point where we were so excited about some of the songs we'd written that when we were writing songs that kind of came halfway to the, like, or just weren't reaching as high, we would be able to turn to each other and be like, it's not good enough, we gotta start again, sort of thing. So yeah, it's good to have those people around you that like, that push you to dig deeper and to like do better.
As a producer, first and foremost, is there a song or something that was produced by, I don't know, somebody in the past that you wish you had some type of hands in?
Oh, that is so many.
I bet. I was pick like three or four. Give us 5.
I mean, one that sprung to mind immediately is like Miguel Adorn. Like,
wow,
it's like a perfect song.
Yes, it is.
It's just like, it's also a one-man operation. He like supposedly he dreamt the song, woke up on a flight, wrote it down, produced the whole thing himself, and just like laid it down. And I remember hearing that and being like, oh, I wish I did that.
Wish I woke up and just
yeah,
dream the song.
And like Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, just like perfectly executed song. Then something like Jackie Moore, This Time Baby, just like perfect disco record with just the kind of record that wouldn't be made now. Like the chops and the musicianship in it, it's just like, you're not like, that's the result of like 8 disco musicians in a room who have spent their whole life playing disco and are just like locked. And then like a voice like Jackie Moore, and it's just like, there's hardly even an environment where that can be created anymore, you know? So, but I'd like to try. You know?
Is there a part of you that really, or is there a certain part of the recording process that really geeks you out?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like the nature of kind of how I make records is pretty, you know, I like writing with other people, but then the finishing the records is pretty, you know, solitary. It's yeah, I'm just in
adding
a room.
The bells and whistles.
Yeah, I'm just in a room by myself, like tinkering with synthesizers and stuff, and it's like, it's a pretty like sort of solo process. So then like I definitely get to geek out and just like really dive into the sonics and like kind of mixing of a record like that. But I love it. That's kind of like, if I had to choose between being locked in a studio for the rest of eternity and like being on stage for the rest of eternity, I'd probably prefer to stay in the studio and geek out.
I asked that question because I think you had posted this video of it was in studio and you had an orchestra.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I think for me that would be the geek out part. I don't make music, but
yeah.
I enjoy it. So
no, I mean,
if
yeah,
I was there, I was
that's
like, wow,
that's unbelievable. You know, you get to witness like an orchestra bring to life like something that you just like made like in a little room, like, and it's very surreal, and they kind of play it more beautifully than anyone than I could ever imagine it, you know. And we worked with a composer, Simon Hale, on the strings, and he's done like all the Jamiroquai strings like back in the day, and like so many records that I like love. So that process is just amazing. I just got to kind of stand there and I was like, you know, watch all these real musicians kind of playing the songs, which is cool.
I remember years ago, my friend had invited me to go watch. It was a Harry Potter screening with an orchestra, and I didn't think much of it. I was like, oh, so they're just gonna play. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
It was the coolest thing ever. The movie's playing with the Phoenix Orchestra there, and I was like, wow.
That's so cool.
Can I experience any other movie like the same? Like, this is
where's my
amazing.
live orchestra? That's so cool. I have heard about that, but I haven't had an opportunity to see that before. But as a British person, it's got to be quintessential viewing, really, hasn't it?
That's pretty cool. I know Ty Dolla $ign did that for one of his albums. He had the orchestra come in. I want to say it was like 2 projects ago. I don't remember.
Right. I can imagine that. I can imagine Ty doing that, to be fair. He's,
is the animation story that you put out on making that record, is that a true story?
Yeah. Oh, it's totally true. It's so funny. Like, I pulled the laptop off of the table because I was just like so high on secondhand smoke. And then, we were laughing about it afterwards, but there was a brief moment where, the fear was that I had just like lost the song that we'd spent all day making.
That's how I felt. My heart dropped when you were telling the story, and I was like, so he had to start from scratch?
Yeah.
Or obviously we have the song, so something was saved.
I don't think they would have been best pleased because we spent, a lot of the day working on it, but everyone was laughing. Once we had the song and it was fine, everyone was laughing. But I always managed to kind of humble myself in some way, shape or form. Like, I'll be in those environments and I'm like, damn, I just made a killer track with Ty Dolla $ign. I'm pretty cool. And then I'll just knock
This is going to be it.
Yeah, and I'll knock the laptop off the table and be like, all right, cool. Like, just calm down.
Is it hard to get a person like Ty Dolla $ign and like Lucky Day, who's getting busier and busier? Is it hard to get everyone in studio at once?
Everyone's got busy schedules, but we're all like, there's like a mutual appreciation for everyone's music. And like, so it's something we all wanted to do, and then, when you get in the room and then something like that comes out as a result of the session, then it's like, it's exciting, so they're busy people, but like they, above everything else, they're musicians, so like they're always going to want to like get in the studio and stuff, but I feel very lucky that I get to get their time as well. So
and a vibe like this.
I love it.
Shout out to SG Lewis inside the Roosevelt tape.